guys, it's Sekaar, and today we're gonna be going over my BowSorc for update 40. I don't even think update 40 has a name. This is my first time doing a build video for this patch, so I don't think it has. Does it have a name? If it does, let me know in the comments below. I genuinely can't think of it right now. But this is my BowSorc build. It's a lot of fun. It's not the most best in slot build to ever exist. If you're starting to get hit, you are taking a lot of damage. You're very squishy, but the damage that this thing does is nice. It is a lot of fun. I have been melting people on this, and overall it's just a really fun build, and that's what I really want to do, is just fun builds. So before we get started, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It takes 2 seconds to do that, and it really means a lot to me. But guys, without further ado, let's get started. First things first, we're going to look at our character sheet. We're going to be an Imperial on our StamSorc. Imperial is overall, in my opinion, best in slot for StamSorc because you just get that overall reduced cost passive on all of your abilities and all of your just everything. So in my opinion, Imperial is just really good for your overall sustain. So that is why we're doing that. If you do not have Imperial, I think Orc would be a really solid option on this, and I think that'd be a really good backup option. But first of all, I would just go Imperial more than anything. Our attributes are going to have 30 points into health and 34 points into stamina to give us a max magic pool of 15.3k, a max health pool of 34k, and a max stamina pool of 24.3k. Our Mundus is going to be the warrior to increase our weapon and spell or our weapon damage as much as possible. We're also going to be using Jewels of Miserable as our food. It's going to increase our max health by 3,400. It's also going to increase our stam and magic recovery by 315. And then also finally, we're going to be Vampire Stage 3 because Vampire Stage 3 is awesome. It helps your overall tankiness, and you really the sustain issues is really nothing on this, but that undeath passive is definitely worth it. Also, moving on to our gear, we're going to be using on our front bar, we're going to be using Way of the Fire. This is going to be one of our 2 5-piece sets. We're going to be using a heavy reinforced helmet. So what Way of the Fire does is it gives you line of weapon and spell damage, max stam, crit chance, and when you deal damage with a weapon, you deal an additional 2,300 flame damage, and that can occur once every 2 seconds. And that tooltip is a lot more buffed up as well when we are fully buffed up and have our major brutality buffed up as well. But overall, this is a great source of consistent damage to have on your enemies because the line when you deal damage with a weapon also applies to weapon damage or weapon abilities, and that is going to also apply to weapon ability dots as well. So we're going to be using poison injection on here, and that's going to be a nice little weapon dot. So as long as you have that on your enemies, they're going to be taking damage every 2 seconds when you're on your front bar. We're also going to be using a Way of the Fire chest piece in heavy reinforced. And then our other Way of the Fire piece is going to be our heavy legs in reinforced as well. So that's going to be our Way of the Fire body pieces. And then also we're going to be using 1-piece Magma Incarnate in light with a Divine's trait on it. Because really I was using Balorg, but I really felt like Magma Incarnate got more bang for your buck because you get both magic and stam recovery, and it really helps your overall sustain. Our other 5-piece is going to be Reliquin. We're going to be using medium hands in Divines. Reliquin is a trial set. You get it from Cloud Rest, but honestly, you can do it on normal and get everything that you need. As you see, I'm not using the perfected pieces, and it's completely fine. So with the new group tool that you can just use to queue up, it's really easy to get these. They're just body pieces, and I'm using the jewelry as well. It's really not that hard to get it, in my opinion. So we're going to be using Reliquin, which is going to be line of crit chance, another line of crit chance, and your light and heavy attacks are going to apply a stack of harmful winds to your target for 5 seconds. Harmful winds are going to deal 2,200 not 2,000. Wow, that would be a lot. 229 physical damage per stack every 1 second. So you can, and that effect can stack once every half second up to 10 times. So you can have 10 of those stacks on somebody at all when you're really ramped up. And if I'm doing my math, that's going to be 2,290 physical damage every second once you're fully ramped up. So imagine the amount of damage that you're putting out with that. Then Wave the Fire as well. And we haven't even gotten to our actual damage abilities yet. So that's a lot of pressure just between our sets alone, so that's awesome. I definitely recommend it. Once I've started to use this, I really can't use anything else on a BowSorc. Thank you guys to everybody that's suggested that in the comments. I have taken your advice, and I have been really liking it a lot. So moving on to our next pieces, we're going to be using Reliquin Waist in medium Divines as well, and then also Reliquin Feet in medium Divines as well. Our jewelry is going to be Reliquant as well. We're going to be using a Bloodthirsty necklace with a weapon and spell damage enchantment on it. Then also another Reliquant ring with the Bloodthirsty trait with a weapon and spell damage enchantment on it as well. So Reliquant's going to be on our body at all times, so that whenever we're light attacking on our either bar, it's always proccing. So it's awesome extra damage. And then I'm using a Ring of the Pale Order. I was using the Balharz's Band, which is right here, which it was a lot of fun to use. The one piece right there increases the damage of your light attacks by 900. So overall, we were really chunking people's health bar, but I really felt like my sustain wasn't there, and I was just getting knocked over the second anybody hit me. So it was tough. It was a lot of fun, and I definitely recommend trying it if you want to, because that extra damage, especially if you do the CP slot where it increases your weapon, your light and heavy attack damage by 20%, it's a lot of extra damage and it's really cool. But I really felt like since I started using Pale Order, I really started to feel like my survivability has gone up a lot. So I've been using that because it restores 20% of the damage that you deal as damage back to you as health. So that is really cool for when you're running around solo. It is a lot of health that you're getting back. If you just apply some of your dots like poison injection or something like that, that's just free health every second. So that's awesome, and I definitely recommend it. We're using it Bloodthirsty with a prismatic reduced cost enchantment on it. And then our front bar is going to be Bow of the Fire and the Sharpen trait, and we're using poisons on this. We're going to be using a double dot poison. Oh, actually, that's just a single dot poison. It's going to be doing dot pressure to your enemies for 3.9 seconds. Then also on top of that, you're going to be getting health back as well. So we want as many sources of health back as we can on this build, because like I said, when you get hit on this build, you're getting hit. Your resistances aren't too high on this, which is completely fine. You got to be very mobile, and honestly, it's really a lot of fun. And then back bar weapon is going to be Master's Perfected Bow and the Infused trait with an increased weapon and spell damage enchantment on it. So what the Master's Perfected Bow does is the Perfected line gives you weapon and spell damage. Then the actual two piece is increases your weapon and spell damage by 330 against targets affected by your poison arrow. So Poison Arrow, which is Poison Injection, is going to be buffing your damage whenever you have that on an enemy because of your Master's Bow. And then on top of that, it's also going to be proccing Wave of the Fire every 2 seconds as well. So definitely make sure you're using that. It just goes hand in hand with the build, in my opinion. And then moving on to our skills, our front bar, we're going to be using Bound Ornaments. It is a great source of extra damage, now that you don't need to apply it every 2 seconds. It's really cool that you just get these stacks just because nowadays. I really like the change that they made to it. It's a really nice quality of life, and it's just overall a great source of damage to line up with your with the rest of your burst. We're also using Camo Hunter. This is basically just to have a source of major savagery to increase your weapon and spell crit by 2,600. Also, you're going to be getting Minor Berserk for dealing damage from the enemy's flank for 5 seconds, so that's awesome as well. Crystal Weapon, this is nice to just weave in with every light attack that you have on your bow. It is a great source of extra burst damage, and also on top of that, it's going to reduce your enemy's physical and spell resistance, right, for a little bit? I thought it was. Is this not the morph that does that? Oh. Never mind. Cut that out. Oh, yeah, right there. Sorry. Reduces reduces the target's armor by 1,000 for 5 seconds. Sorry, I was just reading the last part for some reason. I don't know why I... Sorry, guys. Anyways, moving on. It's late. I'm tired. Moving on. We're also going to be using Streak. This is going to be a nice multifaceted skill. It's a great source to engage. It's a great source to disengage. Disengage. It's also a nice source to be able to stun your enemies. When you have your burst completely lined up, hit them with that streak, and boom, they get CC'd, and they just fall right over when they take all your damage at once. Also, we're going to be using a Mage's Wrath as well. This is going to be your execute on them. So if you apply this to them before you get your main burst out, and if the enemy falls below 20% health within 4 seconds, they're going to be getting hit with an additional 10,000 shock damage to them. So that's a nice little execute as well. So try to have this on your enemies when you're getting ready to get your nice burst combo in there, and you're going to be doing a lot of damage. And then Ballista as well. I really like this morph. I know the other morph does more damage, but you can drop this morph and then CC them and have them start to get hit by this and activate a lot of your other abilities as well. It is a great source of burst damage. I really like it. This thing has been chunking people's health bars. And then on our back bar, we're going to be using Crit Surge. It's going to be your source of Major Brutality and Sorcery, so it's going to increase your weapon and spell damage by 20% for 33 seconds. Also, while active, dealing critical damage is going to heal you for 4,300 health, so please make sure you have this at all times, and make sure you're trying to do damage at all times whenever you can, because that is a great source of healing. Also, Hurricane, this is going to be your source of Major Resolve. Also, it's going to be your source of Minor Expedition, so it's going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 6k. Also, it's going to increase your movement speed by 15%. Also, I know that it doesn't do the most amount of damage with this little AoE around you, but at the end of the day, that little damage tick can crit, and that still counts as your Crit Surge critting. So if your enemies get hit by your Hurricane, and the damage is getting crit, you will get healed from a Crit Surge. So please do not forget about that, and do not sleep on that. Also, Resolving Vigor. This is a nice 5-second heal over time. It's always the top healing whenever I check my CMX, and this is just your overall best heal on this bar. Always try to keep this up at all times. Also, it's your source of Minor Resolve, so it's going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 3k for 20 seconds. Also, Dark Deal, this is going to be your source of sustain on this build. The reason why BowSorc works a lot, in my opinion, and a lot of the other bow builds don't really work as well, is because you don't really need to worry too much about sustain with Dark Deal. You can just take some magic and get a bunch of health back and a bunch of stand back, and that is easy. Also, I love the change to get Minor Berserk and Minor Force nowadays for 10 seconds, so that's going to increase your damage done by 5%. It's going to increase your critical damage done by 10% as well. I love that change. You get so much extra damage because of that. Also, Poison Injection. This is going to be what's buffing your Master's Bow and also your Way of the Fire. So this is going to be a nice little dot to have on your enemies, and also deals up to 120% more damage to enemies under 50% health. So please do not sleep on that ability. Please, I can't stress enough, make sure you always have Poison Injection on your enemy, and make sure you always have Crit Surge up at all times. Please make sure that these are the two minimum things that you have up at all times. And then we're also using Energy Overload on our back bar. This is a nice little ultimate to weave in between all of your other abilities. What I like to do a lot is I like to build up my ultimate as much as I can. Say I'm up to like 400, maybe 500 ultimate, and I start weaving Energy Overloads, because that just takes over your light attacks. And so you just weave those in, and then once you get down to about 150 ult with your Ballista, then you hit your Ballista on them, and the amount of damage you're outputting, a lot of people can't handle that pressure, and they just fall over. It is a great source of extra burst damage. I love it so much. Also, moving on to our champion points, our blue slottables are going to be Focus Mending, Deadly Aim, Ironclad, and Untamed Aggression. Our red slottables are going to be Pain's Refuge, Sustained by Suffering, Survival Instincts, and Celerity. In our green tree, the only things that we really care about, as always, are Breakfall, Rationer, and Liquid Efficiency. And that is the entire build, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I have been really slacking on putting builds together recently. I've kind of hit a little bit of a slump, but I feel deep down that we're back. I'm going to be trying to post more often. I've been really slacking, guys, and I'm sorry about that. But the cool thing is that we're about to hit 7,000 subscribers on the channel, which is absolutely awesome. And I think that with Twitch's new rules, I'm going to start streaming on YouTube as well, simultaneously between YouTube and Twitch. So guys, let me know if you guys would watch that in the comments below. I would really appreciate all your guys' feedback. Subscribing to the channel really helps me a lot. I can't stress that enough. We're almost at that 7,000 mark, and I want to get there as soon as possible. That would really mean the world to me if you guys could do that. It takes 2 seconds to just click that button. I really appreciate that so much. Also, liking the video helps a lot too, so thank you guys so much. But guys, that is it from me. No more talking. I've talked to you guys' ear off for the past almost 15 minutes. Let's get on with the footage for this build. I want to show you how it works in action, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Later. It's a long ass name like that. Kind of like how like you have barcodes. I saw somebody up here. I think I saw him up top. Oh, that worked perfectly. My kill, thank you. EP. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's probably the same person, maybe? I mean, they could just be two different accounts. ISO. Hi. Yeah, honestly, I'm literally taking every single person that like records them. I will take all of the information that you guys have, because fuck people like that. Holy shit! Bro, I am carrying! What is this team? I gotta go clip a Hydra, send it. Send it so I can add to the file. Yeah, I got you. Like, sorry about that. I forgot. Bro, what is my team? Oh, they got a kill. He tried. Nice. Dude, it's just crazy amount of pressure this build has. Damn, dude. Whoa, how did that guy just not take fall damage? I think I might have been a little bit of a carry right there. I think I might have carried a little bit.